COM is the Coalition for Automotive Lightweighting Materials, and we formed COM to be an association or a collection of companies, suppliers, not OEMs, not manufacturers, and it was suppliers that had a vested interest to see lightweighting technology, particularly focusing on mixed materials. We started COM several years ago with the understanding that there's an enormous amount of innovation in the supply base, and with the rapid increase in demand for technology in the car today, auto companies, every auto company is looking for additional help and resources. And part of the intent of COM was to help facilitate the deployment of technology that a lot of it was residing in the supply base. And so it was a matter of connecting the suppliers with the car companies and understanding what the regulators were thinking of in terms of technology. So it's improving the communication and the dialogue. So the objective here was really to help deploy technology. A lot of it already exists, but was just not yet in mass production. We have 31 companies participating in COM today. It has grown every year since we've started it 3 years ago. So we have certainly aluminum and composite providers, companies that provide coatings for materials. We have adhesive companies, as well as engineering companies, because the engineering of these new materials is different. And then the fabricators, because we produce parts using different fabrication methods. And the complexity is just all increasing around the entire supply chain. So the whole supply chain really is impacted by the COM objective. And we get members from all those different segments of the industry.
Boloff is a 137-year-old company. We are fourth generation family owned. We have extensive experience in mechanical joining, but we also have a wide variety of what we call traditional fasteners. We have benefited a lot from the COM membership and some of the COM activities in terms of bringing in regulators, getting a better understanding of future government regulations, definitely stuff we would not have had access to, and we've met a number of raw material suppliers that in discussion during group meetings, you realize you have a common goal that maybe you had not realized previously. We see a lot of opportunity for future product growth based on material decisions being made, not just today, but material decisions that are going to be made 10 years from now. And some of that is, take for example, 7000 series aluminum. It is a very interesting material from an OEM perspective, but there aren't joining solutions out there for it yet. And it's that type of thing that we target and we are excited to bring to market as the market develops. If you look at the COM mission statement or purpose, it's to drive cost-effective lightweight solutions utilizing mixed materials. And as a mixed material joining company, it has given us access to numerous OEMs that we had not had before, and work with a membership group, a diverse membership group, multiple material options to solve OEM problems. And that's where we see it going for us, and that's the value that it's had for us.
Braskem.
COM is, like I said, COM is part of trying to reach out to the manufacturing base and help them understand what the new technologies are. Part of the issue in the industry is there's just not enough time to evaluate everything that's in the marketplace, what's available to them. They have products, they have deadlines that they have to meet, and it's really difficult to be able to evaluate everything that is out there. And what COM is able to do is it's able to bring all these groups together who have all these interesting technologies and lightweighting technologies, and really bring it in and make it part of the focus of what we're trying to educate the market about. Within Calm, there are several different activities that we do. One example of what we are working on right now is the Calm co-development project, which is focused on the development of a lightweight door. And really the idea there is to get this group together, leverage the knowledge that's within this group, the technology that's within this group, and to develop a concept that would not only meet all the specifications of today's door, but to do it in a lighter weight fashion, for a variety of metrics. So it could be less expensive, lighter weight, improved performance and other measures. But it's really about showing what this group can do if you bring them together.
Hi, I'm Tom Boney, Chairman of the Aluminum Association's Transportation Group and Vice President of Automotive for Novelis North America. We joined Calm because of the organization's focus on advanced, low-weight materials could not have come at a better time. There's an incredible materials evolution underway in the automotive industry, happening even faster than many predicted. Aluminum, already the material of choice for a variety of applications and forms, is quickly gaining market share in body applications and closure panels. Consumers want vehicles that are affordable, safe, and more fuel efficient. And Calm brings together industry leaders to identify material solutions to meet those demands. What's coming for aluminum? More vehicles with full aluminum bodies and multi-material solutions. Ford's 2015 F-150 and other such vehicles that will follow are signaling a new era in the auto industry. To fuel this growth, aluminum industry is providing technologies, advanced alloys, and innovations to enable automakers to create the next generation of cleaner and safer vehicles. To be clear, we are still in a multi-material world, and a single material will no longer dominate. A recent survey of automakers conducted by Ducker Worldwide tells a powerful story of aluminum's rapid ascension into high-volume vehicles. By 2025, 76% of all new pickups manufactured in North America will be aluminum body, as will 22% of SUVs and 18% of minivans. Everyone wins when cars and trucks are lighter, safer, and drive further on a gallon of gas. Aluminum and Calm are making this possible.
SABIC is a large multinational chemical manufacturer. We're the second largest petrochemicals company in the world based upon market capitalization. There's 6 major businesses within SABIC, one of which is the innovative plastics business. And the innovative plastics business offers a wide portfolio of materials to the automotive industry to help with areas of strength and lightweighting. We have some very interesting lightweighting applications that we're pretty proud of today that are in place. On the Jeep Cherokee, we've been able to introduce an instrument panel carrier, which is the thinnest instrument panel carrier out there today using our StayMax technology. And we recently have been working very closely with Ford on the new Fusion Mondeo on an energy absorber package, which is about 30% lighter than standard, using our Xenon material. And we're proud of both those applications. Yeah, we really do like Calm because it helps us to understand both current and future requirements in the industry. It helps us to understand trends, and the degree of advocacy that's there is extraordinarily helpful to us. We feel like SABIC is a very collaborative company with both the OEMs and the tiers. We think it's important. We think there's 3 things you have to get right. You have to get material right, you have to get process right, and you have to get design. And if we can be involved in those 3, which involve the OEMs back through the tiers to us as a material supplier, we think that we can provide the best value to our customers.
This is the story of Eastman Chemical Company, a global leader in chemicals, plastics, and fibers. The world depends on our insights to create materials that are in just about everything, from the film in your windshield, the screen on your e-reader, to the coating on your aspirin tablet. Our global community of 14,000 employees continue to pioneer the innovations that lead to practical solutions. Eastman Materials enable the success of thousands of household and industrial products, insight and technical expertise to enable their success, focusing on safety while defining 21st century design and innovation. The women and men of Eastman Chemical Company are poised to meet the world's ever more complex challenges, powered by the dedication of our employees doing what they do best. Eastman Chemical Company. We are the results of insight.
Forcia is the 7th largest automotive supplier in the world. We're number 6 in North America. We have 4 product lines: automotive seating, interior systems, emission control technologies, and automotive exteriors. Forcia is helping to reduce the weight on vehicles along 3 different product lines. The first is the A-surface external body panels. Secondly is the semi-structural parts, which bridge the A-surface to the body in white. And then thirdly is the structural components of the vehicle. We're determining the right material mix to create the weight savings that is needed by the customer.
A strategy that Forcia uses to design and develop a lighter seat includes using standard lightweight mechanisms into modular frames and using generic processes to manufacture the frame.
A lot of our techniques are material-based. They utilize a natural fiber to reinforce a matrix in such a way that the material allows for the substrate to be thinned and also to be stiffer than the traditional petroleum-based plastic itself, and still meet the design needs of the studios for covered surfaces and decorative elements.
Forcia understands that mixed material solutions are going to play a dominant role in the market. Column gives us a strong understanding of the market, a strong understanding of the trends, and helps Forcia position itself strategically to be a player in the composites market.
First of all, lightweighting is not a new subject in the automotive market. In fact, if you actually go back to there's articles going back 100 years ago talking about lightweighting. It's not a new thing, and and as a result, there have been a lot of challenges that have come through and a lot of advances that have been made to overcome those challenges. Some of the challenges today are really I would say more or less still on the part that Calm really helps best in is on the education side. There's a lot of new technologies out there, a lot of new technologies that our suppliers are offering, but there's not as much knowledge on them and how to apply them to a particular product or to a particular component. And it really comes down to being able to identify those opportunities and match them up with the product. Now, of course, there are certainly some manufacturing challenges, being able to join those components together. There's concerns with issues such as corrosion in the vehicle, and especially when you bring together dissimilar metals or dissimilar products. So it's really about picking the right material for the application. So where you need strength, you want the materials that provide you with strength. Where you need stiffness, you want the materials that provide the stiffness that you need. And the way you join it, the way you bring it together, the design, it's really about picking the right material for the right application. So in terms of Calm, I would say we're materials agnostic. We just believe that you want to do the right thing to make it as light as possible, as cost effective as possible, to be as efficient as you can with the design. And that really, I think, when you look across the industry, that really requires a mix of materials throughout the vehicle.
Dow Automotive, we are focused on both aspects with the aim of how do we improve the efficiencies and be able to make composite parts that are ready for mainstream applications that are beyond just niche vehicles. We have portfolios of offering that allows us to take advantage of how to join these different materials together, because it could be all steel vehicle, it could be all aluminum vehicle, or combinations of the two. And we also are working on composite solutions that enables our customers to use the lightweight composite materials for those applications. Yeah, the complexity of working with customers has definitely increased, because not every customer is at the same point of readiness and adaptability to leverage a given solution. So as a result, that allows us to work with them directly. COM is very well connected with the OEMs in North America and other regions. They're able to hold Q&A sessions in a forum that is non-competitive, where the OEM could come in and provide their points of views on their issues, their barriers, and how COM can be influential in addressing those barriers. So I think from that perspective, the participation in the COM group has been very important for us.
Greatest productivity and unique reliability, compactness and versatility, working on a wide range of materials and easy to use and integrate, drastic reduction in energy consumption and reduced running and maintenance costs. The fiber laser is all this. A new era has begun, the era of industrial fiber lasers. The indisputable advantages of fiber lasers and the resulting new technological capabilities over the last 3 years have made fiber lasers the major driver for the growth of the laser industry all over the world. The growth of the laser market in the world primarily depends on the expansion of the material processing sector, the growth of which, to a large extent, is based on increased sales of fiber lasers. And IPG market share is 70% of the overall production of fiber lasers in the world. By building more sophisticated and versatile fiber lasers, IPG Photonics provides its customers with an instrument capable of making their operations more efficient and environmentally safe. We're accelerating technological progress and changing the world for the better. IPG Photonics, power to transform.
In the early years of COM, what we really tried to do was improve communication. That was the first step. We wanted to understand what the auto companies wanted, what they were looking for, what their concerns were with introducing some of these new lightweight technologies. And then also we wanted to understand how aggressive they wanted to get weight out of the car, because we've always tried to get weight out of the car, and it's generally come at a higher cost. After improving the communication and understanding sort of the position from various areas of the industry, now we want to jump into actually solving some of these problems rather than just improving communication. So what we've done is we've actually started doing a co-development project, working with the auto industry, and we've chosen the door as our first kickoff component. So we are trying to develop a lightweight mixed material door that will not be dominated by any one material. And there's probably going to be a whole family of doors that we'll look at with different materials and different parts of the door, probably targeted to different segments of the industry, whether it's a low margin door versus a higher premium door with more exotic, more expensive materials in it, but lighter weight. So we'll try to come up with a whole portfolio from which the industry can choose from, and the members are collaborating on this to come up with these options.
So on the adhesives is where we really play in the automotive market. And we consider ourselves an enabler of lightweighting technology with our broad range of portfolios, including adhesives, surface treatment, and parts and foams. So when we look at working with Calm, it's a great opportunity for us to work locally with the OEMs as well as the Tier 1 suppliers who are driving this change in the automotive market. Vehicle lightweighting gives Henkel a great opportunity to work much closer with our OEM customers and our Tier 1 customers. So we are a Tier 1 and a Tier 2 supplier. If it's a Tier 1 going into an assembly plant, we're working with materials and design engineering right from scratch. Before, we would wait until an RFQ comes, but now we're complicit in the design. What do we have to do to make sure it works in the process? What do we have to do to make sure you could bond those materials together or you get a long-term corrosion protection? So it's a real collaboration now with the automotive OEM. And if it's going on a component, so such as in the engine compartment or on the chassis, we're working with the Tier 1 suppliers that provide those parts along with the OEM, all three of us together. So we provide the expertise in the joining of the products or in the corrosion protection of the products. The Tier 1 provides the expertise in designing that specific component, and the OEM works together to say, here's our long-term requirements of the component.
Ricardo, world-class engineering, research and development. We have been engineering excellence through innovation and technology since 1915, and today our expertise can be found in a wide range of products that provide mobility and power to the world around us. Our global team of 2,100 engineers, scientists and consultants includes experts for all the markets we serve, enabling us to provide targeted solutions for specific industry challenges. We are tackling the challenges of global warming, energy security, congestion and air quality as we transition to a sustainable future. By maximizing the efficiency and minimizing the emissions of our clients' products through strategic selection, development and integration of the most appropriate technologies, we enable them to cost-effectively deliver the cleanest and most efficient products they can. We offer a complete turnkey capability for vehicle program delivery in passenger car, commercial vehicle, off-highway and defense sectors. Our R&D investment in lightweighting technology has enabled us to demonstrate an advanced high-strength steel chassis delivering a 30% mass reduction with zero cost increase. Delivering excellence through innovation and technology.
The Magni Group is a privately held company based in Birmingham, Michigan, and we design and develop anti-corrosion coatings, zinc flake coatings. So as an example of what we do, this is a high-strength control arm that would be on a rear suspension of a typical vehicle. What we do is we actually provide a very thin coating to a component like this, which is a high-strength steel control arm. One of the keys that I think Magni presents to the industry is that as everyone navigates all these problems that they're going to have with lightweighting, what we do is we work with the engineering teams to come up with solutions. Every automaker comes up and has their own requirements, and that's really driven by the physical world and the types of problems that those engineers are solving. And so the key to Magni and where we really succeed is we want to work with those engineering staffs and come up with a solution that is tailored to their needs. The lightweighting effort is a significant challenge for the automotive industry, and so Calm is putting together a bunch of talent in the industry to come up with solutions that, quite frankly, are very difficult. The challenges ahead of us in terms of lightweighting and fuel efficiency have been ones that we've been up against for many, many years. And so when we can work together more closely with OEMs and with the tier suppliers, companies like ourselves that are very innovative, and really the product that we offer is our R&D. It's not really the product off the shelf. The interaction that we have with the Calm group and the Calm Association really enables us to have more interaction with the engineering level of those companies, and we can work closer together for solutions.
The fuel economy regulations, at least in the United States, are a set of standards through the EPA and NHTSA that will essentially raise the fuel economy by about twice what it is today. So that's around, they estimate around 54.5 miles per gallon on the test cycle. And the reason why that's so important is it's driving a lot of new technologies into the market, whether it be advanced powertrain technologies, improved aerodynamics, and especially lightweighting. Lightweighting is one of the main components, along with powertrain, to improve fuel economy, and I would expect to see a lot of new technologies, new materials, and new manufacturing processes as a result. When you look at the fuel economy regulations, when they were first set out a few years ago, I think a lot of the industry believed that they could do it through the powertrain technology. There was a lot of hype around electric vehicles, hybrids were looking, there was a lot of hype around powertrain technologies to improve fuel economy. Gasoline prices were on the rise. Well, it turns out, it looks like that there's the over-optimism, the optimism towards the EVs is starting to wane. And that's making it a little bit more difficult for the automakers to meet the standards going forward. I think even hybridization and so on, that these technologies really haven't taken off in the marketplace as much as they would have liked. And so the automakers are really looking towards going more towards the standard, the spark-ignited engine, the gasoline engine, and improving that as much as possible to improve fuel economy. But that's only going to get them so far. And so they really have to push the envelope in some of the other technologies, and lightweighting is probably, first and foremost in terms of what automakers are looking for to improve fuel economy going forward. And lightweighting provides a lot of other benefits beyond just fuel savings. You get improved handling, braking, acceleration. All these things are benefits for lightweighting. So of course that's going to be something that the automakers are looking for.
3M has developed stronger, quicker and lighter solutions that can enable car manufacturers to reduce the weight of their vehicles by up to 50 kilos. 3M enabling technologies include structural adhesives to enable use of lighter weight materials in body, chassis, closures and seating, glass bubbles for lighter weight plastic components, acrylic foam tapes to reduce or eliminate mechanical fixtures, Thinsulate acoustic insulation for lighter weight acoustic packages.
Shiloh's expertise in stamping, laser welding, and aluminum casting has given us the correct formula to develop a proprietary process of laser welding of aluminum. Shiloh has been laser welding steel for years. We actually laser weld 8 miles a day. At Shiloh over the last year, we've changed our organization to try to really lead with technology innovation. We're setting up an R&D center and focusing on new technologies. Some of those technologies, such as laser welding of aluminum, allows us to optimize door closures, to put mass where it needs to be, and save additional weight at lower cost. At Shiloh, collaboration is a key to developing any new technology, such as aluminum laser welding blanks. The earlier that you can get in with the OEMs to work up front with them on those designs is really required to optimize the process. Trying to put in technology after the fact is always going to be more difficult. So collaboration is very important for Shiloh. CALM and Shiloh have a lot of the same mission statements, mainly trying lightweight without compromise. So CALM and Shiloh has partnered up to be able to work with OEMs and demonstrate new technologies in a generic format to allow the acceptance of those technologies into the industry.
We're always there for our customers. People have expectations for their cars. We believe we can develop better technology and more reliable products by understanding these expectations. We're all connected by cars. Driving, turning, stopping, and providing new value. Aishin is one of the world's leading supplier groups, offering total support for every aspect of automobile manufacturing.
A very systemic issue around materials, because when you change a material, you change the way you engineer it, you change the material source, you change the company that makes the tooling for it, you change the way you fabricate the part, you change the way you assemble it. So the engineering basis, the tooling, the whole supply chain is affected by changing materials in the vehicles. So what we have to overcome is a migration of the supply chain from old technology to new technology. So this takes time, and to see a radical change in the industry just cannot happen overnight. I think you're going to see a car that is much more engineering complex each year for the next several years as this technology really starts to take hold. And frankly, I don't think the auto industry can do it without the help of the suppliers. That's where a lot of the technology is going to be coming from. So overcoming the inertia to develop the supply chain for all of these different aspects of lightweight materials really is what the COM group is trying to focus on.
DuPont Performance Polymers, our legacy is really around bringing solutions to the automotive industry, and that has included lightweighting, driving cost optimizations, through the implementation of performance polymers into all kinds of various applications within the automotive industry. First high-volume plastic intake manifold was led by DuPont. We invented nylon, and it's been implemented in all sorts of applications in the automotive powertrain. Radiator end tanks, emission canisters, intake manifolds. At DuPont, we believe every system, every component is an opportunity to take weight out of the system. And incremental weight is no longer good enough. We're going to need to make big shifts in terms of lightweighting And so that's what's changed. We're taking looks at applications we've never considered in the past as opportunities to reduce weight. What we found is the most successful implementation of lightweighting is when the materials supplier, the design folks, the processing folks are engaged together from a collaboration standpoint. It's the best way to deliver the most cost-effective solution. DuPont values our participation in CALM because of the unique capabilities from a material standpoint, from a design standpoint, the partnerships, the innovators it brings together, and CALM facilitates those kind of discussions and engagements tremendously.
The key to innovative design and cost-effective hydroforming is education. Our team can help your team to deliver great new designs. More creative bends, fewer joining parts, and greater structural integrity, more economically than ever before. After learning the basics, our designers can support your team with early finite element analysis. Next, our die design experts figure out the best way to design the part into the die so that it is a reliable process making quality parts from the beginning. Trust our knowledge and experience to get you the right solution that will work anywhere in the world.
CALM co-development project is really about getting more hands-on to actually pick a particular component or a sub-assembly and say, what can we do, what technologies can we bring forward to make a lighter weight component or subsystem. In this case, we're working on a door at the moment, and the idea is which is a very challenging product to begin with. A lot of different components working together, joining issues, there's issues with corrosion and so on. And these are all things that can be addressed through the groups and analyzed and refined to produce a lighter weight door that potentially is cost competitive with today's doors, but bringing in the new technology and meeting all of those demands.
The American Chemistry Council is actually a trade association representing large chemical companies, but for the Automotive Plastics Group, they are the makers of the raw material that is utilized to make plastic and composite components and parts for vehicles. We want to increase fuel economy and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which is also very good for the environment. So doing these types of projects we think is essential.
BASF is the largest chemical company in the world. And what that really means practically is that we are able to reinvest back into material innovations and really become experts in a lot of different areas. For example, advanced battery materials and lubricants and additive and mobile emission catalysts and lightweighting, just to name a few. With all of these composite technologies, really the biggest challenge is to meet, I'd say, the three big criteria: weight requirements, functional performance requirements, and of course we have to meet economic requirements. Really, we have to meet this trifecta of requirements for these technologies to be successful, and I think we're on the path to doing that. The most exciting thing for me is to see these technologies being started in our R&D departments and rolling out to our application groups and then being accepted by the market. In order to be successful, we have to collaborate along the value chain. It's why we are so excited about being a part of CALM, because the Center for Automotive Research is really driving that discussion. There are suppliers of competing materials, there are OEMs and Tier 1s all starting the discussion right now that will it's really the team that will provide the insights and the solutions that will enable the OEMs to be successful.
Dow Corning has a long heritage of innovation and partnership within the automotive industry, whether it's with our automotive airbag seam sealants and coatings or with our Molykote brand of specialty lubricants. Our products help to increase performance, reduce costs, and address the regulatory concerns of our customers and of the automotive industry for today's vehicles. Through our participation in CALM, I think it really gives us a good opportunity to see the driving needs that are pervasive across the industry in terms of what specific OE's challenges are, what the tier suppliers' challenges are, and how Dow Corning's products might be suited to help them with that innovation. Dow Corning has introduced advanced adhesives which allow our customers to utilize a broader range of substrates for their componentry housing. This has allowed them to broaden the toolbox in the components that they use, which includes lighter weight components as well as lower cost components. Dow Corning is excited to see where the automotive industry is going as a result of the demands for lightweighting. We see many more material suppliers coming to the table to really solve a mutual and collective issue. I think the greatest impact that Dow Corning can have on lightweighting really is in collaborating with our customers, because everybody's solution is going to be slightly different than the other customers, and it's really in getting involved with our customers and having those in-depth conversations that are going to lead to a long-term sustainable solution.
Hi, I'm Steve Brake, CEO of Trexel, the provider of the Musel process. Musel microcellular foaming is the proven lightweighting technology for injection molded and blow molded automotive parts. Trexel has been a member of the Coalition of Lightweighting Materials at the Center of Automotive Research since its inception. On behalf of all of us at Trexel, I would like to thank Jay Barron, Brian Esterberg and his team for their innovative thinking and leadership in bringing together OEMs, suppliers, academia, various government agencies in providing a forum discussing issues facing the automotive industry. Trexel is a proud participant and supporter of the coalition. Thank you.
One of the reasons we formed CALM is that it was to fill a void in the industry. We already have associations that directly deal with high-strength steel or steel-based vehicles. We have an association for the aluminum side to focus on the aluminum vehicle. We have an association to work on the composite side, on the plastics and composites of the vehicle. But there is no association to deal with a mixed material vehicle. Yet when you talk to the auto industry, or even look at the regulator, talk to the regulators and the researchers, bar none, people believe that the direction of the industry is a mixed material vehicle. That is the ultimate goal in terms of higher performance, lower cost, lighter weight. And if that's the direction of the industry, then you need a mixed material development effort, which does not exist prior to CALM. So CALM is addressing this void in the industry to mix materials and the unique challenges brought on by mixing different materials in the vehicle. You have to engineer them different, you have to join them differently. The complexity just goes up significantly with the mixed material approach, but that is the ultimate goal that all auto companies are going in, and it was not being addressed in the industry prior to CALM. One of the reasons that lightweighting is so prominent right now in the industry is that we have very aggressive levels of fuel economy and emissions reduction that are required to achieve regulations. So that is driving one of the primary drivers today to get more aggressive lightweighting than has been happening on its own. So that is the principal driver. Then when you look at the two major technologies to achieve those objectives, really you're talking powertrain and lightweighting. And powertrain, we already understand that the internal combustion engine is not going away between now and 2025. And we have limitations to how close to the regulation requirements we can get with that technology. In fact, the estimates are in the low 40s miles per gallon, so we're talking 25–30% below target by 2025. That gap is going to have to be made up somehow, and the only avenue that's wide open is lightweighting. Lightweighting doesn't stop. It kind of has a continuum that can go from a few pounds up to 10, 15, 20% or more could come out of the vehicle. You're going to improve all of the regulatory objectives that you're trying to achieve, and at the same time improve the performance of the vehicle. So The question is, how much weight can we get out and at what cost? And the appealing thing of lightweighting is that there's no dead end. We don't stop. It's a continuum, and the regulators have estimated something in the order of 5, 6, 7% of lightweighting is going to happen between now and 2025. That was a few years ago. Now I think the new feeling is it's going to be much more aggressive than that. It could be double that. It could be 15%. It could be as high as 20%. We expect to see some very aggressive lightweighting actions over the next few years, and this is a significant opportunity for those in the lightweighting supply chain.
But now let's get to our final panel of the day. We're going to dive into the topic of lightweighting, and I've got to add, this panel was organized by the Center for Automotive Research, and that explains why I'm going to introduce the first member of this panel, Jay Barron, the CEO of the Center for Automotive Research.
Thank you, John.
Great having you here.
Thank you.
Also joining us, Matthew Marks, the chairman for the American Chemistry Council, also the Automotive Marketing Manager for SABIC, and great having you here, Matthew. We're also joined by Randall Shep with the Aluminum Association Group, but also the Marketing Director for Alcoa. Great having you as well.
Thank you.
And boy, you know, it's appropriate that we've got this aluminum representation. We're hearing so much about the new Ford F-150, but Jay, aluminum's not the only story. There's a lot going on in lightweighting.
I have never heard the discussion around lightweighting as much as I have this week. It's been probably the number one topic, I think, and a lot of the new vehicles have been getting launched. It's aluminum, it's composites, it's high-strength steel. Those are probably the three big materials that are really playing a role with this lightweighting. And you know, the thing about making a car lighter is it helps every aspect of the vehicle. It performs better, you get better mileage, it's got secondary benefits, you can downsize the engine, you can do all kinds of things. So it's a win-win-win when you can lightweight the car.
Yeah, really goes faster and handles better too.
Yeah, and stops faster too, yeah.
That's right. But it's not just the materials, right? It's the processing. We're seeing breakthroughs in manufacturing that's allowing this.
That is the big deal for lightweighting. You know, a lot of people say, did you take a steel part out and put an aluminum part in, or an aluminum part out and a composites part? It's not that simple. It's the whole supply chain is affected by this, and the way you design the car is different, the way you tool it is different, the way you fabricate the parts is different, the way you put them together is different. So the whole supply chain has to change as you change these materials, which is one reason why the lightweighting history has been so slow and incremental, but it's starting to pick up speed this year.
Yeah, Matthew, we've seen the industry go back and forth. Back in the 80s, it went very heavily in plastics, or at least some automakers did, and then they sort of backed out of that, and maybe now it's starting to come. Where are we in this cycle?
Well, John, plastics and composites continues to grow. Over the past 20 years, we've seen a twofold increase in the use of plastics and polymer composites used on cars today. Several examples around the show today I'd like to speak about with you today. You know, 10% of the mass of a typical vehicle is made up of plastics, which represents about 50% of the volume of a car. Many people don't know that. So it's a great time to be in automotive, to be able to address the future fuel economy and greenhouse gas emissions requirements that we're seeing, and plastics is one way to get there.
We're seeing a lot newer applications too, plastics finding their way into areas of the car that a decade or so ago would have never happened.
Absolutely. There's a lot of discussion on the F-150, not just from a mass perspective, but take a look at the headlamps on that vehicle, the aerodynamic ability or aerodynamic efficiency that you're able to attain, parts integration, mass reduction. There's about 8 pounds of plastic that's in that particular. We'll talk a lot about carbon fiber reinforced plastics today as well. You know, the North American Car of the Year, the Chevy Corvette, on the hood and on the roof, is just one example. You know, Ford has used it, Chrysler has used it, and then the BMW i3, a great example where leveraging the strength to weight ratio, the superior stiffness to weight ratio, and its energy absorbing capabilities, 6 to 12 times energy absorbing capability to that of steel. So you're seeing some very good examples of how it's being used today.
And Randall, let's talk aluminum a little bit. You know, it's not a new material to the automotive industry. It goes back almost 100 years in some applications.
Right.
And we've seen Jaguar, Land Rover, Audi really in the last decade get into aluminum in a big way. But when you start talking F-150s, is this the tipping point, or are we going to see a lot more like the F-150 going forward?
Absolutely. I mean, we think this really is the tip of the iceberg, that you've been in the, you know, this has been in the high-end luxury vehicles for quite some time. Technology is very well understood, but this is taking a step into mass market, which is, it is incredibly exciting.
Now, some people have told me that Ford has essentially locked up sheet aluminum availability by going with this F-150 program. So if somebody else came along right now and said, hey, I want to make my car or truck out of aluminum, could the aluminum suppliers supply it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So capacity and all that's not an issue?
Well, we're in this dance with our customers where we're creating the capacity for them as the programs come along. So we have the ability to bring more capacity on as it's needed. The only thing we ask is that please bring us in early. You know, don't call us 12 months or 18 months before job one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bring us in for 5 years from now.
3 years. 3 years ahead of time.
Okay, 3 years at a time.